To share a lesson and an overview of your project submission and also your in-class presentation. What I'm going to be showing you today is how to save your documents for submission and also how to print them, cut them, and mount them on your board for presentation. Your file submission is right here, set up on this module. Okay, and here's where you're going to submit a zip folder with your Illustrator files and your progress files as well. And this is just instructions for the in-class presentation of your project. So the first thing you want to do is go through the instructions on both of them. What do you have to submit? So you need a zip file, and in that zip file you need a package folder that is created from your Adobe Illustrator document. This needs to be saved as a EPS, not a AI or PDF. Okay, this is the native file. In there you're also gonna have a fonts folder, which is gonna have your fonts. All right, and that document is gonna have your final revised logo in both black and white and colors in 3 different sizes, just like we did our initial logo presentation. The letterhead, the business card, and the envelope. You're also going to save a print ready PDF, which is gonna have the crop marks and the bleeds of your document. So I'll show you how to save that, and that is the document you'll use to print. You're also going to create another folder, and in that folder you're going to save your brainstorming, your logo research, all of the thumbnail sketches that you've done for both the logo and your corporate identity, and also all the inspirations. Everything is just going to be packaged in there in a separate folder. So all these 2 folders should go into one big zip folder, and that's what you're gonna upload. So this is what I'm gonna show you on how to set that up today. Also for your presentation, so know that after you have saved everything, you have to print, cut, and mount on black mat board. Remember, mat board, try not to use foam board or Coroplast board or presentation board. Mat board can be found locally in many arts and craft stores or online. And this is what your final board could look like. It depends on if you're doing 2 front and backs for your letterhead and your envelope. The minimum requirement is a front and a back for your business card. So there's not a precise size. It all depends on how you're presenting and what are the pieces that you have created. So I'll go through that today. On Illustrator, I have a design created by another instructor, and this is how your final submission should be set up. You should have one Illustrator file with a artboard. This could be 8.5 by 11, your logo in color and in black and white, and in 3 different sizes. Remember that you need to have Pathfinder shapes, that your typography needs to be outlined, and any stroke lines needs to be expanded. They can't be just regular strokes. They need to be converted to path by going to Object, Expand, and you will expand just a stroke. And then each one of your logo needs to be individually all grouped together. We can't group the entire thing. Each one needs to be individually grouped, where I can just grab them and move them accordingly as needed. Okay, and that's gonna go in one artboard. And then you're gonna have your properly developed artboards for each of your corporate identity pieces. So here we have the business card, and it has a front and a back with bleeds and the margin guidelines. I sent out a video on how to set this document up. Okay, So all you have to do is set this corporate identity document up and then save a new one where it's gonna be your final, and you're just gonna add a new artboard to save your logo examples. All right, now each one of your documents needs to have the guidelines. Remember to add the guidelines so they don't cross across artboards. You need to have the artboard selected, and then you can bring in the guidelines inside that artboard without making it cross to the other artboards. The typography on your corporate identity does not to be converted to outline, only the logo, because that is considered an art piece. So I should be able to edit the text. Okay, and here's my different artboards. Make sure that all of the backgrounds are extended all the way to the bleed line, which is the red line. We do not want one of the edges to be like this. They all need to be expanded straight to the bleed line. Okay, and here's my envelope. Remember, there is a structure for the envelope, especially here in the US. The sender's address, which is your client address, should be on the top right. It can also be on places like the flap. All right, but the receiver is in the center and the stamp goes in the top right. And depending on your design, you can have, things like the flap or with colors or full backgrounds for your envelope, but this is the basic design, and everything is well set up with all of the guidelines and full bleeded information. When it comes to your colors, you have to make sure that if I click on swatches, I can see your colors in here. So you need to bring in your colors into the swatches palette if you haven't, so that I can actually select the colors for it. If I need to create a new design piece, then I need to be able to access those colors. All right, so how to package my document. Remember, first I need to have a EPS document. So this one is a AI, so I'm gonna save it as a EPS first before packaging. So I'm just gonna save it in this old folder that I have and change it to EPS and check use artboards. Click save. Illustrator 2020 EPS. Awesome. Now I'm working in the EPS. Okay. Next stop is I'm going to package this. So I'm going to File, Package, and I'm gonna choose a location for this. So I'm gonna put it in my desktop, and the actual name of it. All right. Remember to follow the instructions on how to name your folder. And make sure copy links and copy fonts and create report is all selected. And then create package. Once you do this, show package. This is my package, and it has my EPS file, fonts. Okay. If you have fonts that have been installed through Adobe Fonts, don't worry. Once I open the document, they will be activated through the cloud. So if you don't see them here in the folder, that's fine. Now I need to save a print ready PDF. So I'm going to File, Save As, and I'm going to look for my package folder on the desktop. Okay, and then I'm going to change this to Adobe PDF. Use document print all, and then click save. Here I'm gonna make sure that on marks and bleeds, I click on all printers marks, and then use document bleed settings is selected. You go back to your general. You can make sure view PDF after saving is checked so that it opens up on Adobe Acrobat. And you could change this to PDF X1A, but that would flatten your artwork, and if anybody needs to work on it, then they won't be able to edit it. So I usually just leave it in Illustrator default, and that way if somebody needs to make any adjustments, they can reopen it on Illustrator and work with your document. So I'm gonna click on Save PDF, and there's my PDF on Acrobat. So first is the logo, then my business cards, right? Letterhead. So I'm not gonna really print this because what I want for my presentation is only this type of documents. All right, now the letterhead gets printed on a larger sheet. The business cards and the envelopes, they fit on a 8.5 by 11. So I'm gonna print those first, 8.5 by 11, and then I'm gonna print the letterhead on a 11 by 17, much larger sheet, so I can cut it down. I'm gonna print 2 copies because I'm going to do a demo on how to cut and mount this. So I want to show one that's already cut and one how I'm gonna cut it. So first thing I want to do is I'm gonna print pages 2, 3, 6, and 7. File, print. Here are schools, so I can choose the color printer, HP Color LaserJet. The lab aid is someone who can help you send this to print. Okay, and I'm printing 2 copies, and I'm printing the stuff on 8.5 by 11, so 2, 3, 5, and 6. So 2, 3, 5, 6. Okay, and actual size, right? We don't want to resize this. Make sure it's actual size. And here we're gonna do page setup. Make sure you select the same printer, and then you have US letter. Click OK, and then choose printer. Make sure you have the same one. I'm doing 2 copies of each. That's all good. Print, and then you can look at the actual example. As you can see here, I have one of the letterheads, so it's not 5, it's 6 and 7. So I need to change this to 6, 7. All right, let me see. An envelope. That's what I need to print. So then I click print, and there it goes to the printer. Now I'm gonna print just the letterhead on a 11 by 17. So that's 4 and 5. So file, print, and here I'm going to select 4, 5, and in page setup I'm gonna change this to tabloid 11 by 17. Click OK. There we go. So as you can see, the 8.5 by 11 letterhead with crop marks and bleeds and all that stuff fits right in that 11 by 17, so we can cut it down the way that we need to. And I have the front and I have the back in separate sheets. Awesome. Make sure to go to printer, make sure everything here, you're in the right printer, and then you click print. All right. Now our folder with the EPS, with the print ready PDF, the fonts, text, this is gonna be compressed. So you control click, compress, and now you have a zip file that you can upload and submit to the submission box. Okay, right here.